Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is February 1st, 2024. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. We have an agenda that we're going to follow. The first item is Mark and Denise Girolamo, 276 West Lake Boulevard. Amend existing wetland permit to include construction of retaining wall between garage addition and lake. Could you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
My name is Chris Bateman from Ted Rock Management. I'm here with Mr. Girolamo. Hi, how are you? As the owner. This is a previous application that was approved by the board for a garage addition. Subsequent to the garage addition, Mr. Girolamo has requested the addition of a retaining wall at the rear of the yard that kind of connects down to the lake and then wraps around the backside of his property. If you want, I can point to it on the board.
Yeah, could you please?
So this is his existing house right here.
Right?
This breezeway and garage portion was previously approved by the ECB and under permit, which is currently under construction.
The garage is under construction.
Correct, and that's already approved by the ECB. What's being added under this application is this retaining wall right here that's approximately 10 feet off of the backside of the garage. And a good distance from the water. So we're not encroaching on the water. And we're pretty well within the limits of disturbance of the original application, with the exception of moving more disturbance out to this area here. More disturbance out to this area.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the disturbances added were on the north and south side of the original application, basically.
Did we, all right, so did you, under this original application, that we were supposed to put in a rain garden or something, or you were putting in Coltech, or what were you doing?
We were not the original engineers. The original application didn't have any real drainage subsurface. It had some riprap and some swale and surface water kind of detention areas to slow the water down.
Okay, so the original engine, oh, wait a minute, here it is, hold on. Here's another one. Here's one. Just hold, give me a second, all right?
No problem.
What?
I was not here on that night. First meeting in April. So I don't know.
Going through these. Girolamo. Jack Corral was the original engineer?
He was, yes. Yeah.
Looking for build a two-car garage in the rear along with a breezeway connecting the house. Green line is lake water, high mark, blue line is 100 setback. Roof infiltration detail is here. There's a trench drain that we're putting in front of the garage doors because they have existing problem with drainage coming off the driveway. Chairman Laga asked if they were in the 100-foot buffer to build this. Mr. Krause said yes, the breezeway and the garage is within the 100-foot buffer. What's the area of disturbance? Mr. Krause said the area of disturbance is 2,000 square feet. Technically, we don't have to do any treatment since the disturbance is under, which is correct. But you're adding surface area of the roof, so you're going to have to provide us with either a rain garden or some sort of water infiltration. Mr. Krause said that's why I'm doing the infiltration trench. It's a 4-foot deep trench filled with gravel that will go alongside the garage and up along the side of the breezeway. On the other side of the garage, the trench drain will pick up the water coming off the, Mr. Chairman Laga says there's going to be a perforated pipe coming off that trench. No, it's an infiltration trench. It will fill up and overflow to the riprap outlets on both sides of the garage. Is that still in your plan here?
Yeah, we're not changing anything from the original application. So it's effectively, it's a curtain drain.
Right, well, I'm
Yeah.
just reading the notes.
Yep.
You took down 2 trees, existing driveway, 100 square feet of pavement about. You were here.
What day was this?
So this was back in March of '22.
Correct. We had to apply for an extension
listen, I'm not
No, I'm just giving you the.
22.
Right, so, and the update or the extension was filed in
And you
May
had some
4th.
conditions where you had to store equipment on poly at night, provide a fueling plan for a spill kit, calcs, and need calcs for infiltration versus impervious surface. And we will accept the application on the SWIP approval, and the calculation for infiltration will be reviewed by the town engineer. That was seconded by Mr. Barnett. So I think you have all the approvals, it's just that now you're adding this. What is the square footage? How much area are you adding to, you have a 30-foot here, right? And you have another 40-foot on the other side. Forget the area in front of the garage, correct?
Correct.
So you're adding, 65, you're only adding 100 feet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that's all along you really don't use hay bales. You should use, you don't want hay bales used. You would rather you put in wire-backed,
Okay, that's your preference.
wire-backed,
I like the hay bales, they provide more
Fencing, yeah,
filtration as well as
self-fencing.
reinforcement,
The,
whatever you prefer.
So this wall, can you just describe the wall again, please?
it's
How-
right here. He's gonna go
Is
down,
this-
he's going down 6 foot gravel, stone, with a 4-inch.
Fill.
Filled with undisturbed earth. He's using gravel.
No, I know. What, like, if you're putting in a retaining wall here and leveling it off, yes?
Correct, so basically, this is the back wall of the garage right here. The original grade came, I should have drawn it through, but came to about here. We're excavating down just a little bit to get to suitable material, because it was a little loose and backfilled that was there. So it gets fairly deep, but very buried, about 6 feet down, is the bottom of the wall below the existing grade. And basically what we're doing is just a large masonry stone wall that'll level
Okay,
up the
so-
rear yard and putting in nice granular backfill material.
I'm fine with it, but here's what we're gonna have to do, right? So you're changing the grade of the property to add the wall, and you're gonna have that area. If I take that line in front of there and I follow that up somewhere, you're filling in that amount of area with soils, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what I need to know is then, so we're changing the area of the lake. You're gonna put weep holes, obviously, in this
Correct.
thing and stuff.
Correct.
So what I'd like you to do is this. I don't have an issue with the installation of this wall. However, what I would like to do is, since we are well within the 100-foot buffer, I need some sort of mitigation, okay, for the area that you're going to disturb, which is the I need to have is there a fueling plan in here, or you're tapping off the old fueling plan?
Tapping off the old fueling plan, I carried the notes over and put them on this drawing.
Okay, so what I'd like I suggest to the board, what I'd like to do is, his plan right now is to backfill this area, right? So what I'd like to do is, I would like to have this area of disturbance considered as an area of disturbance. And then I would like you to figure that out, and either put a rain garden or put some sort of mitigation towards the, because you're right on the lake. You know, and that's the main thing we have to protect here, right? So,
Is there anything that he can put in front of the wall here, in front of the weep holes or something along those lines?
I wouldn't dare to, because the worst cases, you have a surcharge of water behind that wall. You're gonna have it structurally sound with the materials, and then if you have a hydraulic charge behind it,
Right.
I'm afraid over time, it'll just go like this.
We're putting in footing drains and trying to
Yeah.
pull any water that, if it does build up in there, it's pulling out. So what we'll propose then is infiltrators at the bottom of where I show riprap on the end of the pipe run, at the last part of the wall.
Yeah,
It will be in the buffer of the lake, but at least it's providing subsurface retention for mitigation of
and what
all
kind
that.
of fill are you bringing in?
Clean
So
granular
you need
drainage
to give us
material.
a certification. You need to provide us with a letter of certifying that the fill is clean. So for number one, you're going to provide calcs or proposal to mitigate mitigate the wall and fill, okay?
Stormwater calcs and mitigation for drainage, no
Right.
problem.
If you're going to use a rain garden, base it on the 100 feet of wall by the width, you know what I mean? It's the simplest thing to do, I would assume. Plus the fill that you're doing, the area, I mean, it's just
Okay.
a triangle, right?
Right.
More or less.
Is this currently in construction?
No. No, we're waiting for this approval in order to proceed. We're ready to go as soon as there's an approval.
It's you.
waiting?
That's, we're holding because of you.
Me.
I'm only kidding.
The
So,
garage has been constructed.
Correct.
no, I'm teasing him.
Yeah, so right now, the process is they're at site, wrapping up the site and stabilizing. So, trying to get the wall done so we can get the site stabilized and
No, I
replanted.
understand. And then some Fry Cox proposal to mitigate, use silt fence,
Wire mesh.
wire backed in lieu of hay bales. We don't, how far off the shore are you?
I would have to get a number on that, but I think it's around 20 feet.
Okay. If you're working on or around the shore, in that proximity, you're gonna need a floating pool.
Okay.
All right, so try and stay away from the lake.
How, is there a distance on that, or, right now, we're not going to expand any further than the existing silt fence that's in
I'm
place for the
fine
garage.
with
So
that,
it's-
but what I'm trying to say is if you go past the silt fence and you're within 5 feet of lake, I want a floating pool.
5 feet, okay.
You can't really do it because of the hill.
Yeah,
It's a hill that goes down, you can't go down there, you couldn't do this job
from down that deep.
lower side.
Yeah, so we're good.
I'm just
Yeah.
telling you what I want.
Yep, got it. 5 feet of lake, floating pond.
And there was what was the other item I asked?
Infiltration, letter of clean fill.
Oh,
wire
yeah,
back
cert letter of
removed.
clean fill.
Right, I got mitigation measures for backfill, stormwater calcs, and subsurface. Letter for certified clean fill, wire-backed silt fence, and I'll put a note on any disturbance within 5 feet requires
Floating pool.
floating pool.
So, Mr. Chairman, I will ask, considering that the project is currently in flight on this.
Yeah. Give it conditional approval and then it gets stuff to us by Monday.
I'm fine with that.
Can you get us this by Monday?
I'm sorry?
Can you get this information to us by Monday, Tuesday?
Uh,
I mean, you're not ready to start this work tomorrow.
no.
So, I mean, we have.
Could I ask-
You could have it by the next meeting, right?
Yeah, if I could, I'm in Florida till Tuesday, sorry about that. So by Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, it's, all right, so then we'll just shelve this now until the next meeting. So when you get all the other stuff in, put this information into Rose,
So we got to come back for
then
one
you'll
more.
just have to come back and then it's just, we show you the secret handshake,
So we'll have it all in advance of the next meeting and come back one more time.
Perfect.
okay?
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for your time.
Does he need an
We have to
extension?
vote, right? No, we don't have to vote. Next week we vote.
Does he need an extension?
Oh, yeah, do you need it? Let's see.
Well,
It runs out in May, I think May 4th is the.
Right.
You may want to make that extension.
might as well. Yeah,
6 months?
can we put 6 more months on that?
You tell me.
6 months.
Okay, so,
So that would be
so write a
May,
letter to Rose.
November.
Yeah, so write another letter to Rose or an application, just say you request an extension for 6 months on this existing permit. And we'll just cover them both at the same shot.
Okay, perfect.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Good night.
See you. Okay, next is Steve Spielman, 96 Westlake Boulevard. Installation of a pool, previously with tiered wall system.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
Yes, Jeffrey Econom, consulting engineer, here to represent Mr. Spielman, 96 Westlake Boulevard. Little history on the project. Back in, I think, 2021, there was an approval.
When was that?
2021.
2021.
By Rayex Engineering, and then there was an approval with architect Robert Keeler for the pool.
This the one right on the lake?
Yes, 96, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was hired back in just this year to look at stormwater calculations. The original applications I looked at that had 2 rain gardens for limited disturbance did not work because the plans failed to show, over in this area that when there was a garage addition built by the previous owner, Mr. Rayo, that there's 2 buried propane tanks in this area, and there's a large concrete patio that was back from the early 2000s. So that affected where the rain gardens were going to go, and actually,
It's Roy Frederickstein.
excuse me?
Roy Frederickstein, Ray Tech.
Yeah. So then what happened is the rain gardens, which is an infiltration practice, were actually about 20 feet from the existing well, which doesn't meet code that you don't want an infiltration practice that close above a well.
Okay.
Below a well, it should be 25 feet. The original plan stated that there was no grades on this property greater than 10%. The average grades in the back of that property are 18.5%.
So it's a nice hill.
Yeah, I had Eric Link do the survey for me. Rob Keeler had a plan that had a 4-foot or 2-foot stone wall in the back. There's over a 6-foot differential between the ground level here and the back of the pool. The pool configuration has not changed. But what happened was I had to put a retaining wall in to tier the property so we could have a level pool area. That's what our change here is.
And what is it, the red?
The red here
magenta?
is the outline of retaining walls, so I tiered the property. I actually put additional, this was lined, the darker river stone was existing. I brought additional river stone in, so there's actually no grass along the lake, which helps with infiltration practices. The grass fertilizers, grass clippings get into the lake. That does not happen. I sat down with...
This has not been built yet, correct?
Yes, it is under construction. We had permits for it.
For the
and-
pool?
For the pool and for everything. And I sat down with Mike, and I sat with the town engineer.
Right, Rich?
Yeah, and we had the engineer wanted to review the calculations. He has subsequently reviewed the calculations. He has agreed. He wrote an email to Rose and to myself that they were satisfactory. The rain garden only picked up a 3-year storm. If you see what I did here, because it also said on Mr. Frederickson's plans that there were dry wells on the property all the roof leaders were connected to. There was not one dry well on that property. They all open discharge to the lake. If you look at this hatched area on the roof line, I've taken over 80% of the roof of that structure, which is over 5,600 square feet. I put it into these Cultex systems designed for a 25-year storm. So now you're getting infiltration and water quality for the entire roof, almost the entire roof surface that was open discharging to the lake.
The Cultex is over there.
There's these square areas, rectangular areas of Cultec.
Wow.
So,
To my understanding, it sounds like the project plan that was previously presented here had an approval of installing the general features that are on this plan as well, including a pool and a deck. That hasn't changed, but the problem ended up being the grading and the requirement of, in order to get these features in there, you needed to grade the property and tier it. And in order to properly do that, it sounds like you've also added a considerable amount of additional
limited
water
distance.
groundwater mitigation strategies or groundwater
Stormwater mitigation.
Stormwater mitigation. There we go,
Yes.
thank you. Stormwater mitigation strategies, especially because our previous ones that we had approved were no longer viable on this property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So the river rock in red,
That's new.
That's new. The stuff that's gray is.
Gray was existing.
Existing.
So I've given an additional buffer to the lake. Gonna plant ornamental grasses in front of the wall, a little more infiltration, but aesthetic purposes along here. None of the walls are over 6 foot. I wanted to stay within the town code with,
And the pink, the magenta lines, that's the retaining wall?
yes.
New, which wasn't there
New.
previously.
The limited disturbance on this project increased by 76 square feet compared to what was approved under the Rob Keeler plan.
Is this is this permit still active? It's
Yes,
still-
it is.
okay.
It's been renewed. Mr. Spielman just recently renewed that. And I did ask, after getting the approvals, the building inspector, you know, he says, we issued you a permit. And I've known Mike for years. I actually just retired after 33 and a half years in local government. I worked Yorktown for 20 years. I worked around. I was actually, I don't know if you've heard of EnviroCert International, CPESC,
Yeah.
CPESC certifications. It's the erosion sediment control. They have water quality. It's an international certification. I was actually the first chairman of the board for the international certification. We're known throughout the world. I actually taught in China. So this is sort of my specialty. I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, environmentals, my master's. So this is my specialty, is trying to do this, and I actually teach stormwater to the building inspectors. I'm a certified building inspector, so being that they don't know that a lot of them are the MS4 officers for the municipality and things that they need to teach. So I do help, and this is one of my backgrounds. So.
All right, so the two Coltech areas that you're having,
Yes.
those Coltechs make up for, so you're saying the whole total area of disturbance was a net add of 76 square feet?
Correct.
I assume that's probably just the size of the retaining wall, or the amount of retaining wall we have. Where did that 76 square feet come from?
It's around the retaining walls, but if you look at the.
Yeah, but when you dig in the Coltech, that's considered disturbance
This
too.
this was already previously disturbed. From the
Yeah.
house out down here, this whole area was previously disturbed. You're talking this little bit here.
Okay,
This was.
Oh, extending it further down because of
To,
the.
to
I see.
tier the
I get it.
walls.
The walls that are there. It's within the footprint of the previous.
If you look at
That's
the
previous one?
Frederick plan, RAX plan, if you look at the limited disturbance, there was no way that that was an accurate limited disturbance with 6-foot grade differential across the pool, and it was only 4 foot off the edge of the pool was a limited disturbance. It just physically cannot work. So, I did take a close look at this. I know
you're putting in silt fence when you install this retaining wall, yes?
the wall is actually constructed. We did have silt fence up. I have 100 bales of shredded hay. So any disturbed area, at the end of the day, I spread hay on the disturbed area. There was no disturbed areas left open on this site.
So is the work done? What's
Yeah.
done? The pool's done?
Everything but the gunite pool.
What caused you to come before us with regards to this?
I
Because we
think,
really would have liked to have seen this before you did it.
I understand. That's why I asked the question when I was here. I was told that there were active permits and to continue working. I was on site every day as an inspector. I made sure that there was no disturbance. I actually annoyed the contractor because I was on him to clean up and pull out material at the end of every day.
Is the letter from Rich in the file with regards to the Coltech?
I included his email where he reviewed my calculations. Yes.
The ownership of the property hasn't changed hands, has it?
No, it has not.
Yeah, I have it here. Thank you.
Which is letter?
Yeah, reviewed. This is from Rich Franzetti, engineer. Rose, I've reviewed the runoff calculations for the reference. They meet the necessary criteria. Please advise the applicant that any wall over 5 feet in height must be designed and certified by a structural engineer, and that a separate submittal for the file should be provided. Are there any walls above 5 feet?
Yeah, I'm certifying the walls. I've inspected everything out there. I certify the walls. I have photographs of everything from footings, rebar. I think the reason they just came back is due to the change, but again, it's a minimal, sort of a minimal change if you,
Has the size of any of the impervious area increased?
no. Like I said, pool area, this whole pool area has remained the same. Same pool. I actually enclosed a copy of the pool plan. That has not changed over this scenario. Again, the reason the Coltex system got larger is the rain garden was designed for roughly
Well,
a 3-year storm.
See, this is where I'm getting a little crazy here. Because originally it was supposed to be a fiberglass pool, one-piece fiberglass pool. Now you're telling me it's a gunite. So I don't know what do I believe now? Do I believe the old drawings or do I believe the new drawings?
Well, I can guarantee you, and I can certify that this is what's in the ground. And you have a plan of the pool that's,
Again, my meeting minutes from June of '23, which was not so long ago, and who's Mr. Bergerat?
Is he an engineer?
So Mr. Bergerat said, this was originally done from '21, Mr. Bergerat said '22, Mr. Bergerat said, okay, I figured, said that the title block from Frank Rowe to Steve Spielman, but he didn't change the date of revision, name change, that's all he did. Mr. Bergerat said he didn't change the date in the map because it was not a new map, it's the same. What are you doing here again, just building a pool? We are building a swimming pool in the backyard. Above ground, below ground, in ground, it's a fiberglass pool, one piece. And at the time of the meeting, nothing had been done. And that was June of '23. So, I mean, the problem I'm having right now is, that we were given the okay for the pool and the work that was associated with the original application, but all this work. So I'd like to see at least the cuts. I need did you bring in any clean fill to anywhere of the site?
no, same fill's being used and what's,
I'd like to have a cert on the stone, the riprap that you're gonna be installing. I'd like to see a cut or and a clean fill cert on the riprap that's clean. I hate when things come here and they're done already.
I don't necessarily I don't have any concerns about the nature of the project itself.
No, I don't, my concern is this was done differently than what was previously approved. We spent a lot of time on this.
and that was at the direction of staff to continue to work. So,
Pardon me?
that was at the direction I specifically asked, do we stop or do we continue? And I was told, I'm not gonna stop you, you have an active permit, continue. And it was back and forth whether we needed to come back to this board. And, I felt we come back to the board just to give you, at least what's going on. But again, I specifically asked the question from town staff and was said
I'll
that
check with the town. All right, well, nothing we can do here.
Check with the town for what?
So they told them to go ahead.
Oh, with the, I mean, I personally would feel okay with a modification of this with conditions of clean, certificates of clean fill indicating what riprap, and perhaps even a
Well,
letter
the
from
permit's
the
still,
town engineer.
in effect to June of '23.
Yeah,
So what I wanna do is this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna have to give me a certificate of clean fill for all the riprap you're gonna do. Wrap you're installing. What was the area of disturbance, under 5,000?
Yes, it was.
And you have an approved SWIP, right?
Yes, we did. Everything,
That's all we really can do.
is this, I don't really know what we'd approve though. Is the approval of
We're
a
just
change?
approving it as a change to the existing application.
I think we have to look at it that it was, I mean, I came on board. I have, and I guess you have, I have the plans from the engineer that did not show that the rain gardens, didn't show that the propane.
No, I'm not- I
No, but
understand.
I'm saying that the
I'm talking
propane,
about administratively here. We have, we
We can
usually,
I can amend this permit to say includes drawings, blah, blah, changes as shown on drawings X, Y, Z. We can vote on it and then just make it as that. That's what we can do.
Can we make that, the change conditional on the providing of the clean fill?
I mean, it's
I
You
gravel.
didn't put the fill in yet, did you?
The gravel, yeah, it's in, the stormwater's in because I had to get the roof leaders connected.
It's a fait accompli.
All right, so then, this is what I'm gonna do.
I mean, we're talking gravel and,
Just so you're
Plans.
aware, one of the conditions as well is prior to removal of any, since you're the new engineer
Plans
on the
and
plans, prior to removal of any erosion control measures, make sure you're talking with Rich Franzetti, town engineer. He has to review that before you pull them out.
it's all stabilized, correct. Yep, got it.
See, these drawings were done back in September, so that's what I'm really having and as being a former town engineer, when things go not so the way they were supposed to. Okay,
Well, the unfortunate thing is the general contractor that I gave the drawings to that I was dealing with, who was hired by Mr. Spielman, I gave them to the general contractor. I did not hear anything back.
I'm not blaming
No,
you.
no, but I just want to let you know, that general contractor is, no longer, he got fired from the job. I'm working directly with Mr. Spielman, and that's when I came in, I said, were these submitted to the town? And they said no, and that's when I said, well, that's why we're here. I wanted to do the right thing. And I could tell you that Mr. Spielman's trying to do the right thing here, and he has spared no expense to make sure.
Okay. All right, so then I'm gonna put a motion to,
Bob, real quick, when you were reading the minutes, I recalled I originally recused myself from this matter. So I think just as a matter of consistency, I would recuse myself again. I think on the first application.
it does not say if you were recused in here. This is Willie did this.
Yeah.
That's who Willie Bercherat is. If you would like to recuse yourself again, that would be fine.
Yes, I would. I'll recuse myself again.
Okay. All right, so then, do I have a motion to modify, please note for the records that Anthony is recusing himself to this application and this permit. So then, to the board, do I have a motion for permit number 994 to amend the plans in accordance with the submitted drawings, adding the following notes to the special conditions. Plans amended on 2/1/24 to add retaining walls, drawing C1D1 dated 9/20/22, and drawing 1/1 dated 12/19/23. Do I have a motion to grant the amendment to the drawings?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so all I did, you couldn't get another copy of this, I just wrote in the added 3 extra drawings that you put in. This way we make it as part of the plan. And then I put plans amended on today's date.
I appreciate that, and if you, I am getting an as-built, so you will be getting an as-built of everything. I have Mr. Link on retainer, so he's gonna update everything on the property. And I
Okay.
apologize for this.
No, it's just,
being this.
you know,
I
we try to be proactive here, you know, and we truly do try to work with homeowners and contractors and engineers, you know. I might know one or two engineers in my time, but, you know, it's just that, you know, we try to do the right thing, and it just, yeah, it just gets a little, you know. Listen, I understand projects can go sideways in a heartbeat, and you have to adjust accordingly. You know, sideways to me would have been, you know, you had to have more riprap, no big deal, just go on with it. But this went sideways to the left and a few circles.
I get it, but in the end, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a nicer product.
No, even for the lake, it's gonna be, because now we've taken that entire roof in
No, I
tree,
got it.
and it's,
We're good,
so.
all right?
I'll be seeing you around, because now that I'm retired, I have a little spare time to do some consulting,
Good for you.
so. I appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
problem, thank you. Your name again?
Jeff Econom.
Jeff, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you need,
No, Jeff's my engineer,
oh, okay.
so I'm gonna talk to Jeff about drainage. Before we leave. Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay, next item we have is meeting minutes, all were present. So
Have
do
a
I
good evening now.
Have a good one.
Good evening.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for January 4th, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that takes today's meeting. So do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please note for the record that Anthony, after the vote, came back in off the recusal bench, and he's actively allowed to vote on the meeting minutes and the closing of the meeting. So with that, have a good evening, enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much. Bye.